So today I'm going to make tofu steak and roast veggie bowls with gochujang sauce. I've frozen a block of tofu and then I thawed it. What happens when you do this is that the texture of the tofu changes. It soaks up flavors really well. Freezing tofu changes the texture of it. I will just give it a squeeze, but I'm not actually breaking the tofu. I've squeezed it out a little bit to drain it, and now I'm just simply cutting it into 4 steaks. To make it absorb the seasonings even better, and also to make it look pretty and interesting, I'm going to score the surface in a cross pattern. Now I'll just go on here. So I'm going to use cauliflower, which I love grilled or roasted. So I like cutting it in quite thick slices, and that way they will roast quite evenly and quickly. And I like including the leaves as well. They get really crunchy when you roast them. You can use white cabbage or green cabbage, whatever you have at hand. Let's spread that out as well. The heat really does something to the cabbage flavor. It makes it sweet, it makes it smoky, it makes it a bit crispy. To season our tofu steaks and veggies, I'm going to use ginger, my favorite, that I will just simply grate. I'm going to use fresh garlic, which I will also grate. So you can open the steaks up a little bit so they really get smothered in garlic. Put the rest on the vegetables. Squeeze the ginger over. So I'll use some tamari over the steaks. Use a bit of salt over the vegetables. I like using toasted sesame oil because it gives a really nice flavor. So again, some over the steaks and the rest over the vegetables. Give the steaks a little bit of a squeeze, and that way they will absorb the seasonings. So just make sure that everything else is well coated. So it's going in the oven. So while the tofu steaks and the vegetables are in the oven, I'm going to make a homemade gochujang sauce. I'm basing my gochujang on miso, and I'm also using gochugaru, which is Korean pepper powder. So a tablespoon of that, a couple of tablespoons of miso, a tablespoon of tamari, couple of tablespoons of agave syrup, and a tablespoon of sesame oil, and half a clove of grated garlic. You simply just stir it together. If you leave this for a little longer, the Korean pepper will sort of flavor the sauce even more. But it's ready to use straight away. So I'm ready to assemble our dinner bowls. I'm starting with a layer of rice. You can use quinoa, you can use just greens, cauliflower, roast red cabbage, tofu steak. So I'm also going to add some juicy red tomatoes, or you can use anything that's juicy and a little bit acidic. So I also like using pomegranate. I'll add those there. We will finish off with the gochujang sauce. And that's a generous dollop. And some toasted sesame seeds. We'll also add a little bit of green things. Dinner is served. Yummy!